KEMBO, Natata Nzambi, and Mama Ndombe. All KEMBO belongs to our Creator. We want to welcome everyone back to our channel, the community, and say welcome to everyone here on Zoom, the community. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your time with us. We are going to talk about a subject, with dealing with sacrifices, animal sacrifices. And there was a brother that reached out to me asking me to talk about this. And he asked me because we did the teaching probably a little over a month ago. The God of the Bible is not our creator, but our creator is in the Bible. And I will say again, we really have to pay attention when we read the Bible. We have to pay attention to who is speaking, which God is speaking, because both gods are in there. God of the Bible and our creator is in the Bible. But it's the God of the Bible that's doing a lot of the talking. But there are some things that are inserted that comes from our creator. And if we're not careful, we will take what our creator is saying and connect it with the God of the Bible. And so he said the sacrifices of the animals, all those sacrifices, he said, I do not believe that our creator would allow something or ask for something like that to take place. And I told him, I responded to him and I said, you're accurate. You are correct. All right. Now, in the book, let me pull it up. I should have had it pulled up here. I do apologize. I think it's in the book of Leviticus. I'm sorry, you all. Leviticus 3rd. I think it's the 3rd chapter. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let me share this real quick. I'm not going to read all of this, but just to give you an idea. Okay, again, there were some sacrifices that were done using animals, but it was for a particular reason. I'm not an expert on this. I don't know much about this, but we're going to bring this out. This is Leviticus 3rd chapter, and starting with verse 1. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offer it of the herd, whether it be male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And I'm going to read it as it is in the Bible, because we need to understand what God is talking. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. Now I'm going to stop there because this, if you read on down, through this scripture, it talks about the different animals of what animal he may use. If it's a goat, if it's a sheep, if it's a bullock, and he's saying, you do the same thing with this animal. You take the kidney, take the liver, the flank, and all this, and you sprinkle the blood on the altar and burn it, and the fat, and it should be a sweet savor unto the Lord. Now, we also know that the offerings that was done by Aaron's, and I think is in the same scripture, by Aaron's sons, was the sacrifices that they did. It told us that the fire consumed them because it was done wrong, so they died. So Aaron had to do sacrifices, and Aaron was told by the Most High, it came through Moses, Massa, to Aaron to wash his body, put on the linen, the tabernacle linen, and he could not go into the Holy of Holies until he did sacrifices, cleanse himself and followed these instructions. And, I was just reading through it and I said, my goodness. I said, that is a lot to go through just, for, sin offering. I said, that is so much. And after you do all these sacrifices and sprinkling the blood and, burn it and send it up as a sweet savor, then you go and you take the linen off, and where you put it, you leave it there, you wash again, then you put on your regular clothes, and then you're able to go into the temple and you do another sacrifice. And I'm like, that's a lot. And I do not see our Creator having us go through something like that. Now, I could be wrong, but that is a lot. That's a lot. Now, here's the thing. Our Creator is a life giver. And to create all of these animals and then turn around and say, take a particular animal and sacrifice it, you kill it, and you cut it up and you put it on the altar, you sprinkle the blood on the altar and you burn it. And I get joy out of smelling the fat and the savor, that's coming from it. I do not see that being our Creator. Life is in the blood. And we were told that we're not to spill blood, that we're not to eat blood. When Cain killed Abel, according to the Bible, it said that the Creator said that his blood cried out from the ground. Life is in the blood. So I'm having a hard time understanding why our Creator would request all these sacrifices. And there are different types of sacrifices in the Bible where, it's a killing of animals. I don't see that. I don't see our Creator doing something like that. And again, when it was done, it wasn't done often. It was for a particular ceremony, life for life or something like that. I don't know offhand. Like I said, I don't know much about this, but it wasn't what we read in the Bible. It wasn't anything like that. Anyone have anything to say?
Well, just by thinking, like you said, excuse me, how our creators are creators of life and not death. For me, just thinking, using just my, my common sense, to kill something that they have created, to command us to kill it and to spill the blood, which contains life, like you said, it just doesn't add up. And then I understand how there's certain religions, let's say that, that use blood sacrifices, it just doesn't add up. Now, I do not believe, let's say for the most of the time, like you said, maybe special circumstances, but the majority of the time, our priestesses and high priests, I don't believe they use blood in animal sacrifices, killing creation. We don't take life as creators. That's just my thoughts.
Yes. Queen B, anything that you can share here to give us a little light, or anyone else? Anybody? All right. Well, I just don't see it. Like I said, okay, she says that I think sacrifices are to particular gods. Yes, I do agree with that.
Moloch.
Okay. Moloch, yes. Yeah, she said not to the Most High. Totally agree.
Yes.
It's just like the babies, that they sacrifice, because we know that there were a lot of human sacrifices using the babies. They sacrificed them to Moloch, and our Creator never desire anything like that. As I said, our Creator is a life giver. Okay, one who gives life. So to kill, slaughter, or destroy something that He created and said is perfect, I don't see our Creator doing it.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. The church teaches that Jesus came to be a sacrifice. Family, that's a human sacrifice.
Yeah, that doesn't. That bothers me.
Yes.
That's true.
Our Creator do not do human sacrifices.
Right.
Life is precious to our Creator. So again, we really have to look at the distinction between our Creator and the God of the Bible. We have to look at that distinction. And we have to be careful about what we connect to our creator when it's actually the God of the Bible.
That's right. Yesiah came back to get us back to the 42 laws of Ma'at, the commandments.
Yes.
Not sacrificing himself.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, there's something else that I want to share with you all too. And this is a very familiar scripture as well, and is within the same context of what we're speaking on here. This is from the book of 1 Samuel, 15th chapter. And let's look at verse 22. And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight, look at the wording, has great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And to hearken than the fat of the rams. Now, I told you all that what come to me, there are things that come to me when I'm in water in the shower. Okay, let's see. There's a chat here. It says, in our spirituality, in some parts of Africa, sometimes animal sacrifices are made to certain gods. Example, the gods of a locality, of certain water bodies, forests, etc. But not all of our people have animal sacrifice as part of their spirituality. I think it has to do with the divine practice versus the human, man-inspired expression of our spirituality. Yes, I agree. Beautiful. Matondo Masaka.
Yeah.
All right. So we say this often, a lot of us, obedience is better than sacrifice. Right? Now, Mama Brenda, are you with us? Mama Brenda? Okay. Well, we were looking at what I said to her. What came to me is, in that scripture, there was a word there that is used in a wedding ceremony. And that word is often asked to the woman. What's that word, y'all?
Obey.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it never asked to the man?
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought about that? I'm sure some of y'all have.
It's to put
It's a clear in the
to him.
To keep us in control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like Mama Brenda just said something about patriarchal
Yeah.
society. Yeah. Men rule over women.
Mm.
Because Eve disobeyed and she did not honor Adam and went ahead and talked with the serpent and did what the serpent said.
So they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they're flipping all this around because traditionally, our lineage was a matriarchal society.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask this question. Do you all think that our Creator is looking for obedience, want us to obey.
Not in the Eurocentric definition of the word obey. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's my take on it. When we understand who we are and we understand who our creator is, it's not the relationship of what is being presented in this scenario here. You have to do what I say, because that's basically what obey is, right? So the creator, we have our free will and free mind. We were put here on this earth and we were given dominion over this earth, first and foremost. So we as Muntu, we don't bow down. We shouldn't be bowing down to anybody else anyway. So as far as obeying, that is not the relationship that we have with the creator. That is, as we have been discussing, the God of the Bible. They look to obey, do what I say. That's what obedience means. You do what I say.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not the relationship we have with our Father. That's why we said Tata Nzambi. Tata Nzambi is our Father. So it's a loving relationship. Now, granted, there are some principles. We know that we have some principles and some guidelines. We have some in our home. You have to have that balance, that structure, right? And if it's not adhered to, then yes, there are some consequences. We know there's consequences to our action. We know that today with what's going on with us. But still, we had the free will to decide to do or not to do, right? So that, I don't think, in my opinion, is indicative of who we know as Ntu Tata Nzambi, our creator.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anybody else? Anyone else?
We do have an obligation. I would say that we have an obligation to bring Zulu here down on earth. And that's what we need to, and we are going back to. We see the shit happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, Queen V had put something in the chat. She said here, I also think the animal sacrifice thing came in when patriarchy took over and the female priests, oracles, diviners were displaced. Now, look at this scripture. This is Daniel 11th chapter, verse 37. Y'all know this scripture very well. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor, look at that, the desire of women. Just that part right there. Nor the desire of women. That speaks volume. Nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. This is talking about the Antichrist. Now, y'all remember reading in the Bible where Jesus was talking to the disciples and he said that the Antichrists are among us now. Okay?
And that there were many.
Yes. Yes. So, what does this have to do with what I'm talking about? We keep saying obedience is better than sacrifice. And we relate that to the killing of animals and us being living sacrifices unto God. Remember, there is a God of the Bible and there is our Creator. So we learn that these entities who have tampered with the Bible, changed a whole lot of things around, have inserted themselves as God. So when we look at this scripture now, the English language, man, my goodness, we got to be careful when we speak this English language. A lot of people, used to make fun of me because of how slow I talk. And, I have said I speak slow because when I speak, I want it to be exactly what I want to say. And if I say something that I don't mean to say, I can correct it right then and there. All right. Because sometimes we can talk so fast and say something and just keep running without realizing what we said. But I try to take my time. Am I perfect in everything that I say? No. Because sometimes words I'll miss, and then I have to come back and correct. But this word, obedience, what does obedience mean? So when you look at this word, obedience, you're talking about bowing down to, becoming lower, submitting, humbling. In other words, I submit my will to you. So whatever it is that you tell me to do, I will do it with no argument. I'll do it with no thought because you said to do it. That is obedience. But we were taught that obedience is better than sacrifice. It's saying we don't need to kill any more animals. We don't need to do that. All we need to do is be obedient to the word of God. These English words will keep you in a perpetual state of curses. Yes, sir. Nkosi Khan.
One of the explanations of obedience is, it says it's submissive compliance. And then you have to think, comply with what? Well, comply with the laws, the 42 laws of Ma'at. You agree to comply, to keep them. That's obedience in a sense.
Yes. Yes.
That's better than sacrificing and killing animals.
Yes. Yes, it is. And in that sense, it is being a representative. Okay? Because remember, we are created with Ma'at in us. This is why we have the heart that we have. Mama Brenda.
Yeah, I just wanted to pose a question. It's rhetorical, but if anybody want to answer it, they can. So you're talking about it. That's in 1 Samuel. Is that correct?
Yes.
15,
About
that he would rather have obedience.
Yes.
So the God of the Bible is saying that he did not desire sacrifice. And that's in the Old Testament. So my question is then, because remember we saying help me make it make sense. Just make it make sense. So if you didn't desire sacrifice, why did you sacrifice a human being? When you go to the New Testament, they say that Jesus Christ was sacrificed. He was a sacrificial lamb for the people, right? So it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. If you didn't desire sacrifice, why did you allow a life that you gave and then it contradicts the commandment of thou shalt not kill. So you allow murder for the sacrifice of other. It just doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. And they would tell you that Jesus was God in the flesh. So what they're saying is God came and sacrificed his
He killed
himself.
himself. He killed himself, according to them.
Yes.
So he broke his own law to do something to himself that he tell us not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you tell me?
That's what they're saying. Yes.
Help me make it make sense.
Part of the 10 Commandments, like you said, thou shalt not kill, but you've allowed yourself to be killed. Because again, they said Jesus is God, but turn around and tell you he's the Son of God. That alone does not make sense.
It's confusion.
He's the Son and he's the Father also.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's confusion.
Yes, it is.
Total confusion.
But then now, in Kosi Kangi, you said that's confusion, and Mama Brenda said total confusion. But doesn't the Bible also say God is not in the midst of confusion?
Exactly.
Queen Tamara says, on another twist, think about slavery. They put the word obey and animal sacrificing in the Bible to justify their action.
We talked about that this morning.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So that is the point of bringing out this obedience, this obey. Okay? Because that's what they expect of us to do. They did it with our ancestors, whom they brought over and made into slaves. They killed some of our ancestors to be examples to the others, saying, if you don't obey, this will happen to you. They beat them into obedience.
Mm-hmm. And they actually put that in the New Testament. Obey your masters and those that have rule over you. So that kind of goes in line with that, because the way they teach it and organize religion is like Christ is over you or Jesus is over you. He's the head. God is the head. You have to obey him.
Mm-hmm.
We have our family in Christianity. That's why we're saying now, looking at, since we're out looking in, we're saying this stuff doesn't make sense, because organized religion does not allow you to reason and to think. It throws all of that out of the window. And so the things that we're saying now that doesn't make sense to us, to them, some of it may not make sense to them, but then they don't question it, because I know there were some things when I was in Christianity didn't make sense. I questioned it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me and my personality too. I question those things. So are we to go along with, to what extent are we to obey? That's the question, because it says obey. So to what extent do we continue to obey, even if that leader is leading you wrong, telling you wrong? Are you to obey? To what extent?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, Queen V just put a excellent question in here, and you know, I had to laugh at it. She said, "Playing devil's advocate. What if the emphasis on obedience was to make sure that we are sheeple, unquestioning obedience?"
Exactly. That's what we're saying here with that passage that says, obey your masters, do what they say, do what they tell you to do.
Exactly.
This is someone that is a good Christian. When you obey them that have leadership and ruler over you, this is what they would say in order for you not to even question the pastors when they do wrong. You don't question the pastor. How come you don't?
Right.
He's a man just like anybody else.
Mhm.
Subject to error, subject to do wrong. So
Yeah.
how come he can't or she can't be questioned? But this is what they teach you. This is the person that have the rulership, how they say, the oversight of your soul. No, he or she does not have oversight of my soul. I'm responsible for what happens to me. That's another thing that they
Right.
so that's good that V pulled that out.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Because it goes along with the question, to what extent of obedience are you referencing? How far do you go? Because the people in church, our family that are in church, they don't question things.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
it's how far do they want you to go? You know, obeying what they say and you know what you should do. They're still practicing that now to this day. You know, with obeying. You know, there's certain things that happened a couple of years ago, you know, about oh gosh, the snake bite.
Mhm.
Right.
Obey, obey, do this, do that.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. And in using this obeying and obedience thing, it's a fear tactic that they tack along with it.
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't be obedient, you'll go to hell and you will burn. You know, if you don't take this snake bite, then you're gonna get this and you'll die from, okay?
Right.
Be unalive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You know, so it's like put fear in them. Remember, we got to see what we got to determine the difference between the God of the Bible and our creator, because there's a verse in the Bible that says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. Yes, ma'am, Mama Nicholas.
See, Amy, I just wanted to say the whole emphasis on obedience too, and I do believe that, you know, we have to, according to our own understanding, follow the, you know, the laws that were given and so on. But the whole emphasis on obedience can also prevent people from seeking the truth, because you just think, you know, that all I need to do is do what I'm told. So you're not going beyond what you're told. You just, instead of, you know, trying to find out what's really going on, if something doesn't make sense to somebody who's just submissive would say, okay, it doesn't really make sense, you know, but my just so be. So it prevents people, it can prevent people from seeking the truth, so that you can never come to know the truth if you're simply just obeying blindly.
Yes.
Yes.
Right there.
That's
But
it.
you know, that's what they say faith is.
Yeah.
You don't see blind faith, and that's not our spirituality. It is proven, it's science. And so what they teach in Christianity about having this blind faith, that's not us. That's what, man, they have really screwed up some things. But you know, this is what happened when you take somebody else's story, history, content, and information, culture, and then you take it and you just butcher it, just like they butchered up our land, and divided it up. They created a mess now.
Yes.
You know, and caused a lot of havoc.
Yeah.
Same thing with our scrolls that they took and just butchered it up. They didn't understand it. They don't know about it. And some things they did intentionally, some things they didn't know. But some things were done intentionally, like disobey.
Yeah.
Because this was one thing that we know that they put in that slave Bible. Obey your masters and obey those that have rulers. That's what a good slave would do.
Mm.
And you get rewarded now when you get to heaven.
Yeah, they say that. Queen Mama, Diana, you wanted to say something?
I did, because following up behind Mama Nicholas, I wanted to also bring out that the leadership, the pastors, a lot of times, most of the time, they were not studied. They didn't study. They didn't know, so they're covering up for their own ignorance. And I will say this, a lack of diligence, plain old laziness. Because it's so much easier to just give people that simple, just have faith, like what Mama Brenda said, just have faith. But what does that mean? How do I do that? How do I do that? It's a whole lot easier than picking up this Bible and looking at the history, because our people did not like this. I'm talking from experience. I know they didn't want to know the history. They didn't want to know, I can't say that word. What does that mean? So our people may have been, through the generations, been dumbed down here in the West, thinking that you don't know, you can't learn, or you don't know where to go to get the truth. You don't know the resources and all of the anthologies, volumes of information that will substantiate what we're talking about. But our people just have been so dumbed down. It's easier to learn a song because we got the beats, we got the vibrations, we can feel it, but we don't want to get this up here renewed. Now, that Bible does say, have your mind renewed, but we don't want to do that. Well, I won't say we, our people that are still in church, let me say that. They are too complacent. They're submissive, yes, like we said, but then you have the leadership. They're just as lazy, don't want to know, and they've been educated by the seminaries. They're going to all of these conferences where it's all of the Mundeli, or the chief speakers and the chief apostles, and they're the archbishops or whatever. So they're supposed to know everything, and they just mix it all up like how they want to develop a product to sell to us. And someone was saying how much our people in America, no, so last night I was watching the video, the amount of money that our people as consumers have spent in this nation. Same thing in the church, same thing in the so-called kingdom ministries, where they know they can get our people to buy all the books, all of the tapes, all the shawls, all the oils, and go and be a living sacrifice and lay on the altar, you know who, with the prophetess, laying on the altar with the ark and all, go through all of these changes, putting money in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you catch the bus.
It does not take all of that. And one more thing I wanted to say, now shut up. With the book of Hebrews, because we're talking about the book of Hebrews, which is supposed to be Paul writing to the Hebrews, and we're supposed to have Hebrews on the continent. But in the 10th chapter, which really speaks about sacrifices and offerings. And while we were talking, I just looked at it again. I said, you know what? Yahweh, the Most High, was bipolar for sure, or whatever it was. So, because how you gonna say this is mass confusion in Hebrews the 10th chapter? Because how is Yesaiah gonna come and say, oh, but a body you have prepared for me, you didn't want sacrifices and offerings? So what does that mean? A body you prepared for me. So why is that all that language is in a chapter that talks about sacrifices and offerings?
Mm-hmm.
So just a question. I don't understand.
Because they had to perpetuate that lie that Jesus died for our sins. That's why they have it in there. That's why they have there about obedience. And they have people bowing down to this character and giving it energy. When you call it and quote unquote worshiping, giving energy to something, you giving it power. You giving it your energy. You need to be careful what you give your energy to.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the character of who they have created in Christianity as Jesus, with this white character, infinite looking guy, with infinite characters, characteristics, I should say, then you have to question and reason, or either say rather, that is why that spirit is so rampant in church today. You're giving this thing energy, so you're feeding it. You're perpetuating a homosexual spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna read real quick here 3 chats that Queen I put in. The first one, she said, the 10 commandments are set up that way. You shall. Okay. And we've spoken about that, how it takes it off of them and put it on you, pointing at you. You should do this. You shall do this. Don't do this. Don't do that. You. And then the second one, she said, you can't manifest in a state of fear, which is accurate because of the vibration. And she said here too that JC paid it all, as you know, they so say. And
what did he? I want to know. I want to not to us, but to be facetious. He paid what? Paid it all for what? They said for what? For sin? Well, people still sinning. So that was a sloppy, sorry payment.
Right.
Because people still sinning, and these pastors in the church, they do the worst. Look at what's going on now with TD Jakes.
Well,
but everybody makes mistakes.
But you say he paid it all. I've heard some people say that my sins were nailed to the cross before I was born. Really? So you knew back when you was in your mother's realm, in the spiritual realm, what sins you was going to commit when you came here. So he said, I'm going to nail that to the cross. What kind of sense does that make anyway?
So when you in your mother's womb, you were a sinner.
Yeah. Now look, that's another one. That's another one. Let me get to Nkosi Kanga real quick, and we're going to come back to that one.
Okay.
I was just talking about, I was listening last night to Sangoma. Gogo and Yezi was saying that, you know, now they got us to where we were thinking about having faith and just believe. She said, we don't do that in Bantu spirituality. We operate in knowledge. We know. When we speak, we know that it will manifest.
Yes.
Exactly. It's a science. Our spirituality is a science.
Yes.
The white man calls it, what's that science they into now?
Metaphysics.
Yes.
Metaphysics.
And quantum physics.
Quantum physics. Quantum physics, a lot of it, when you look at it, is nothing more than African spiritual science.
Yes,
our spirituality is a science. They say it should really be African spiritual science. It is not this what I was trying to say before, this blind faith stuff. Oh, I'm just gonna believe Jesus will go open up a door for me to get a job. Is believing enough to get a job? You know, I know we talk about manifesting things, but it's more than just what they're teaching in Christianity. You got to get your tail out and you got to put out applications.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're looking for a job, but better yet, let's stop doing that. Let's create our jobs anyway. We are creators, and that's what we need to be working on. We are creators. They have made us into people and beings that we are not, who the creator did not create us to be. We are created in his image and in his likeness. And that's what I was going to say too, in lieu to what we were just saying about how Tamara, y'all said you were iniquity formed in the womb in iniquity. However that scripture is worded. But however, to show you again how it contradicts itself, the Bible, it says that you are wonderfully and fearfully made, created. So if I'm created in sin in the womb, so then it's saying that the creator is sinful, is created with sin, because we're made in the creator's image, which we know is not so.
Yes. Queen Brenda, yes, ma'am.
Yes, you know, I'm thinking about the faith part and how we were taught to walk by faith and not by sight, or not by our senses. But God gave us our thoughts and he gave us feelings. So if you can't have something to judge that something is off with you, you're not aligned with him, then you're just supposed to ignore that and just keep walking by faith. And that is not that's not accurate at all.
No,
Because
it isn't.
if he made the cattle on 1,000 hills, and that belongs to us too, then there has to be some kind of alignment with him, rather than us walking in blind faith, which is nothing.
Now, real quick, and you are correct, because when you walk in blind faith, I think someone had put it in the group chat earlier. You're sheeple. Okay. Let's just tell it like it is. Sheep are stupid animals.
Yes, they are. Dumb.
Yes. And the Bible says that we're sheep. I am not a sheep.
I'm a goat.
I'm a goat
Oh,
too.
please.
I'm a goat.
A buck all the
So am
time.
I. Yes. Yes.
Give
I'm
me
not a
the
sheep.
cherry goat.
No blind following.
No.
Stumbling around and dog bumping into this, bumping into that.
Hey,
Falling
And
off
then
the cliff.
following without questioning, just following the leader, following you over a bridge, not questioning, not looking, just following and going over cliff. That's what a sheep would do. I'm not a sheep. A sheep is not intelligent. A sheep is like he said, is unintelligent. It's stupid. It just follows without reasoning, questioning, whatever. But a goat, on the other hand,
Come on now.
is intelligent.
Yes.
Reason.
A sheep will eat grass and eat without looking up to see where it's going,
Yeah.
and can
What's
fall
coming
off.
to attack it?
Yes.
But a goat? Ooh.
A goat is going to be aware of its surroundings. And I love what Queen V said here. She said, the Bible also calls Jesus a lamb. Hello.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
sure does.
So what?
Wow.
So he's stupid?
Yes, that's why he said, not my will, but thine will be done. Oh, move this cup from me. I would that you would move this here terrible thing from me. I don't want to do this, but you know what? I'm just gonna do it because you told me to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I had my hand up because I wanted to comment on what Matinda said. Ashelina had I like that.
Yeah.
She said, my Bakulus paid it all. That's right. Absolutely. Our ancestors paid it all for us. They sacrificed their life so that we could be here today.
That's right.
Not no white man with blue
Jesus.
eyes and blonde hair. Our ancestors. And yet you have people in Christianity demonize their own ancestors that paved the way for them, made the way, sacrificed so much so that I may be here. You may be here today.
Yes.
Today, they sacrifice so much. They sacrifice their lives, you all.
Yes. And look, I got to point this one out too. When we were talking about the Jesus, forgiving the sins, he died for the sins of the world, right? And you beautifully explained that, Mama Brenda. Queen Lizzie put in here, she said, my tomorrow sins are already forgiven.
I
love it.
And you know what?
I love
That makes an individual sin what they teach, because they said that Christ paid it all. He suffered, bled, and died for my sins. If you, TD Jakes said it, if I did do it, there is forgiveness. So you see how it excuses behavior for you? It perpetuates sin. The cross perpetuate sin.
Yeah.
And I heard, God, I can't remember who it was on a video. It was one of the elders on the continent said, if you are not obeying the laws of Ma'at, you will find yourself probably circling back here again to try to get it right. I don't want to come back here.
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either.
Either.
If you don't get it right this time, you'll be back.
Yeah.
Right. You come to right. You can't ascend. They're gonna tell you you got to go back.
And you know, Queen Lizzie got something else here too that clearly makes no sense. She said, "The Lamb of His robbed in majesty does not make sense."
Robbed in majesty.
Robbed in majesty. Yeah, this Jesus being the Lamb, right? Majestic,
Right.
and you know, but he was robbed in majesty, life taken, and you know.
Oh wow. Yeah.
No, you know, and we were talking earlier too about faith, and kind of still continuing talking about this, you know, about faith. And I don't know if it was a video or a reading that I read or heard, but someone said, when it comes to faith and you're in the church, the pastor approaches the congregation about tithes and offerings and read scriptures to make them, you know, feel obligated to pay. You know, I need to give my tithes so I can receive my blessings.
Yeah.
But one of those members is in need of something or money. The pastor tells that that person, ask God, trust God, have
Pray
faith.
about it. Yeah, pray about
Yep.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Why don't that pastor have faith?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't that pastor go to God and ask God in Jesus' name?
Exactly.
Well, that pastor
Mhm.
go in his pockets from when he's stealing the tithe money and give it to the person that needs it.
Mhm.
That needs it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we see their heart. They don't want to do that, and they're not going to do that. Very few will you find do something like that. Very few.
Dude, I could own a lot of land in Africa for all the tithe money I paid.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too. My
Yes.
goodness.
Yes. But I tell you, this sacrificial thing as a whole, okay, as a whole, we really need to look at this and think about it. The animal sacrifices, as Queen V had mentioned earlier, you know, it was really done to the other gods, not our creator,
Right.
because he was a life giver. Our creator is a life giver and told us not to kill. That's why Queen V had also put it in the chat when I was talking about, I think it was Queen Nidra that mentioned about the commandments, the 10 commandments, saying what you should not do. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. And Queen V said, and the Ma'at, the 42 laws of Ma'at says, I have not. Okay. Again, that's how we're created. So when we walk in Ma'at and understand Ma'at, we understand that we don't kill, period. We don't kill.
Mm-mm.
And that
I
is
remember
the Most High.
even when I was, in Christianity, I remember when I would be reading that part about the priest sacrificing the animals and all this. I thought to myself, man, that sounds like a bloody mess.
Yeah.
Like a,
Me
like a
too.
slaughter,
Me
like
too.
a
Yes.
slaughterhouse.
Blood was
Yes.
just flowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like a
It is.
slaughterhouse. I was like, ugh.
Can you imagine the stench?
Ugh.
And talking about sprinkling blood on the altar?
Uh-uh.
From morning to night.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know which scripture it is, but I think it was David, King David. I think it was him. Remember the scripture where it talked about all the animals that was sacrificed?
Yes.
I think like 1,000 cattle.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So then
Mhm.
stench of that.
Okay.
Oh, and then it was like unsanitary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, diseases.
Yes.
lies. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
And then spreading the blood, they said, all over the doorpost. That nope.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Mm-mm.
Nah. Nah. That's
You
where
know, there's certain entities that love blood. That still gets trying to get blood today, just killing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they still doing that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I tell you. So, wow. This has really been something, because, we've covered a host of things, in this, so yes, ma'am. You're right, Queen Nigel. The God of the Bible says, do as I say, not as I do.
Mhm.
And Queen V, she said, here's a question though. Why did our ancestors keep so many livestock when they were not big meat eaters?
Yeah. That's good.
Excellent
That's
question.
good.
Excellent question.
That is a
Oh
good question.
my. Yeah.
Excellent question. You know,
Was it a sign of wealth, like maybe exchanging like a currency?
I
is.
think so.
Some tribes
It
now.
was more, yeah, it was more of a currency.
Yeah. And then when a person gets married, one family has to give so and so amount of
Yeah,
animals.
Hmm.
yeah.
Hey, Queen Mama Bantu.
The clock, and I said, "Oh shoot, they already started."
Get
And
yourself
I
another clock.
wanted to keep on because this is a powerful conversation that we as the children need to talk about. And my thoughts is they manipulated those scriptures because we were going to be the ultimate blood sacrifice. So they had to derail our culture and put in all this blood sacrifice because they were the meat eaters.
Mm-hmm.
We were plant-based people. They were the carnivorous people. That's why they still can eat raw steak and horrible things. The Maasai in Kenya, they use their cows because they still graze cows. They've been doing it for thousands of years, but they use it as money, like you said, because
Right.
use it as money. They use it as bargaining. They don't eat the cow.
Yes.
They don't eat the meat of the cow. They eat plant-based food because I asked them because they are here in Kenya. So I'm always inquiring about those things, but you brought up a great conversation. And I think our culture was so manipulated because we were the ultimate sacrifice. They needed our energy. They needed to shut us down from our God, our culture, our language, our clothes, everything, so they could control us. I just found out, one of the elders told me that this is why we don't go to the mortuary and get embalmed. We go right to the ground, he said, because that's where our peace is. We came from the ground, we go into the ground. He said, but what they do in the mortuary is they harvest your heart, your lungs, your get out of your body, put it in the freezer, and sell it. Huh?
Yep.
Before they even embalm you, because the Bantus, we are a plethora of wealth. Our melanin is worth a lot. Our liver, brain, everything in us is worth a lot of money to the entities.
Yes. BASSEH.
But this is a conversation that is a powerful conversation that we need to, like you said, we need to question everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have changed us. And I always do my 24 laws, they're prayers to me. And the most powerful thing is you are, and this is a sign of worship. We don't worship the Creator, but we obey Him. That's a sign of worship.
Yes.
Birds sing in the morning, obedient. They're
They are
worshiping the Creator.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And when we're obedient to Him, I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. That is coming to the Creator saying, here I am, your child, abiding by your laws. And that's it. It's so powerful what they have taken from us, but we're coming back to ourselves like the prodigal son.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
We
Yes.
came to ourselves, wait a minute. Something's not right with this story.
I tell you, they have twisted this thing. I told Brenda this morning, I said, we cannot believe anything that they say because they have twisted everything, and we really have to go within and seek the truth, and Matinda, Queen Matinda, she said, our ancestors kept livestock because they used the skin. Example, the leopard skin is used to be worn by kings and queens. So,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
And she said, I have seen some of the Xhosa wear a cowl on their head, etc.
Cowhide kept you warm in winter. Yes, kept you warm and kept you dry when it's rainy. Ah, yes. Okay. Okay.
But that was really an excellent question, Queen Vita. That was really excellent, and that brings us back to remember, it's the ark rested on the mountain, and they came out of the ark. Why did it say? Why did the Most High tell, or God tell Noah at that moment that they could eat meat, when all before they were eating the vegetation, nuts? Why did they all of a sudden say that they could eat meat?
They manipulated the story right there. They manipulated the story right there. We just pointed it out.
I'm like,
go ahead.
No, I'm asked. It's just a question. I'm just thinking of Genesis where it says, God gave you, anything with seeds in it to be eaten as food. So I'm like, shouldn't I don't know how to. So it should have been God to tell us, since, the Bible says that we are created in His image, to tell us that we could eat meat instead of Noah. You said Noah or Abraham that said that we could eat meat. I don't know who.
Yeah, it was Noah. After the ark had rested and it came out, then he said, at that time that, they could eat meat.
It should have been God telling us that. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's just a question.
Yeah, did they put that in? They had to put it in.
They did.
Right there. There's a twist right there. The trick. Remember when, who was it? Peter, he saw all the hooved animals and he said, eat whatever I've given you, bless it and eat it. But that was that was delis.
Right.
Yep. Now, Queen V, I tell you, she's on the roll here. She put in the chat, so killing the animals for their hide, skin was okay. Now,
but I think it was ritually. They did rituals. This is what the elder told me. We did nothing unless we did a ritual, whether it was the water, the trees, the animal. It was a sacred ritual. We just didn't chop things to pieces. We went to the Creator and said, this is what you allowed me to do. And the ritual would begin. All the elders, they would encamp. The people would come, they would dance, they sing, and it was a sacred ritual. They don't do like the Modelis do, shoot for sport.
Exactly. And to tag onto that, we asked permission of
Yes.
the animal. Okay.
Yes.
I was talking with Chief Michelle, a few months or maybe about a month and a half ago, something like that. And he was saying that we don't go out and cut trees down like the Mundele. He said, we ask permission of the trees if we can cut them down, and we tell them why we want to cut them down. And I thought about that thing and I said, man. And so I said to him, I said, so all these years that I got on my mower or my push mower and was cutting the grass, I said, I should have been asking the grass if it was okay to cut it and explain why.
Absolutely.
Yes, because again, we are a part of nature.
Yes.
We come from the ground. So you know what? If I cut a tree down, it's like cutting my mother's finger off.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I cut the grass, it's like cutting her hair.
Yes. Wow.
So I have to ask permission. And I cut the grass the other day and I asked permission and said, why? This is why I'm asking to cut it. There are things that we didn't know that we are learning.
That's why he said, Darren, to go to the crossroads and turn back to your ancient path where there's peace and rest for your soul. So that was an act of you turning back to your ancient path. It's foreign to us, but it's necessary for us to practice our ancient ways. It's necessary for our growth, our spiritual growth, our oneness with the Creator. We have to go back and understand and respect where we came from, the land.
Mm-hmm.
One of the elders said, the tree is alive and the tree can talk. That's why we go to the tree. We go to the tree and pray. We go to the tree and ask permission because the tree is alive like we are alive.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. And she asked another great question in here. My goodness, Queen V, you got us on a roll here. I love it though. She said, so what would happen with the meat after the ritual? Eat it or no?
I wondered that too.
Now, my response would be, we would eat it.
No.
Because, and I say that because it would be a waste, and this is just me, it would be a waste, if you kill the animal for the hide, even though we really did not eat meat. And at times, there were certain times that we did or that we would eat meat, but it wasn't a, every dinner thing like we have it today, But I would say, yes, we would eat the meat so that, the animal wouldn't have been killed like, just for the hide and everything else went to waste. That's just my opinion. Yes, ma'am, Queen Mama Bantu.
My thought is that there are a lot of animals that eat meat. You can feed that meat to the animal. Lions eat meat. There's a lot of animals that eat meat. We don't eat meat because he said don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
Plants and herbs are our substance. So you don't have to waste the meat because there are animals around you that eat meat.
You are right. You are right. I guess y'all know I was a meat eater.
I would think that they would take the meat and bury it and give it back to Mama Ndombe.
Good. That's good. Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
And Ashelina, did you want to say what you put in here? Or you want me to read it?
Tata Mbote can read it, please. Thank you. Maton.
Uh, you're welcome. I forget the word for you're welcome. Forgive me. Kadiambuko.
Yes, that's right.
She said, we would not eat it because we were only to eat plants with seeds. And that is correct. That is correct. So I stand corrected, because like I say, I would have said, yeah, we eat it, but so I stand corrected. I am in the process of working on Brenda and I backing away from meat. And we've done very well in doing that. So fish is the only thing that's left for us to, to back away from. And we're getting into the vegetables and everything. So Queen Bee says, I've seen Gikuyu priests sacrifice ritual of a goat, and the meat was shared and eaten by the village. So I guess then there was really no wrong answer.
No, I don't think there was a wrong answer.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I might stand corrected. Speaking from a Bantu perspective, like of what I have seen, I just wanted to. Well, it's something that I'm thinking about because the Bantus have mixed with all the non-Bantus. I see Yaya V has mentioned the Kikuyu. And because the Bantus have mixed with all the other non-Bantus, could it be possible that we have adapted some of their ways into our Bantu cultures, which is why we would also consume like certain things that we as Bantu wouldn't?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Because I know a friend who's from the Kikuyu, they say Kikuyu ethnical group, and they say that they've mixed a lot with the Maasai people. So because of that, certain of their ways, it's sort of like similar to the Maasai people. I didn't know that until the Kikuyu friend started like educating me about the Kikuyu tribes, why they do certain things the way they do it. It's because, the Maasai do it that way. We started intermarrying with them. So therefore, when you have kids, one parent is Maasai, one parent is the Kikuyu. So you have to do both or you learn both. So I just thought it was interesting that Yaya V mentioned.
Yes, and I live around all Kikuyus, Maasai, Kisi, who are all Bantus. But like you say, we have adapted rituals and things that our ancestors didn't do. Remember, the Kikuyus have been here in Africa for 400 years. So going back to our ancient days, our ancestral days, there's a lot of things that's mixed in with our culture that seems normal to us now, but a lot of things was not permitted.
Yes. Yes. And I can also use as an example is us here in the diaspora, living amongst them. We have taken on a lot of their ways because we had to live in their society. So, which is why we don't know our culture.
Yeah.
And, they only taught us so much in school when they taught about slavery. All I remember was they said, your ancestors were brought over as slaves. That was it. I didn't know anything before slavery.
That's Darren, because they did not want us to ever realize who we were. Never spirituality. We could never realize who we are,
Right.
or what we came from. So they cut that part of our history off. Even today, I did a class today with a whole bunch of, matter of fact, Maasai and Kikuyus. And the school system does not teach any of the language, any of the indigenous language, nothing about African history. They teach the Mzungu history, Abraham Lincoln, Christopher Columbus. Imagine.
Yeah.
So these children are being educated not with their culture. You get grades if you answer
Miseducated.
if you answer the right question pertaining to their educational system, then you're graduating. You're advanced to the next level. But still today, we are not taught about our ancient culture on purpose.
Yes.
Because that's our power is, knowing who we are and where we came from. We tap back into our ancestral power, our spiritual power, our cultural power. The awakening is so important for us to not only embrace the awakening, but spread the awakening.
Yes.
And who have the same spirit as us will hear it. And those who don't have the same spirit with us will reject it. Let them go on.
Yes, ma'am.
Move out the way. I'm trying to get to the one that I'm supposed to get to.
Yes. That is why it's important for the teachers amongst us to teach our children.
Yes.
You know, and let them know who they are, who they truly are. We do have to reprogram our children, give them the truth.
Yeah.
And take what has been mundelication, take it out.
Right.
Remove it.
Miseducation.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what, Darren?
Yes.
I believe with all of my heart, the revolution has already started. It started with Niger, Burkina Faso. It started with all the countries that's coming on with Niger. It's coming with South Africa. We are going to tear down the Mundeli's educational system. It's falling down. It's going to crumble.
Yes.
Yes.
Along with the church, is going to crumble. So the restoration of our kids, you know that that missionary that came and said we have to tear down their culture and their ancient education. Well, education, wait a minute, I thought we didn't have an education. You said we were flying around in trees and we were monkeys. He said their ancient educational system.
Yes.
Our educational system will be restored in Africa without our help. The Creator is going to do it, and Mama Nobe is going to do it.
Yes.
Right.
You know, Queen Bee just not long ago put in a group chat. She said one of the biggest things that has been normalized is the loss of matriarchy, which is part of the foundation of Ma'at.
Absolutely.
She is so right, you know, because they have made everything patriarchal. And we have to return to the matriarch.
They have made everything patriarchal because they're homosexuals.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Come on, they're ancient. They're not ancient, but they've been practicing homosexuality for years and years and years and years. Europe, before they came here, they treated their women so bad. Their women were nothing. They were warring and carnage to their own people.
Yes. Yes.
When they came here, that was the idea, because here's the thing. When they came to Africa, they saw the power that the mothers, the queens had in Africa. They were respected, they were lifted up.
Good evening, Coach Christine. I am so sorry that I had to send you a message so early in the morning.
Oh, let me mute her.
So
Okay.
I had received the feedback. Oh,
Okay.
So, but that's how they changed it. They changed it to the men up above everything. I never ever believed that Paul said, "Let the women be quiet in the church," because the Europeans mistreated their women.
Yes.
We never mistreated our women in Africa.
No,
They were respected. They had a place in society. So here we are, taking apart the scriptures that they imparted to change who we were.
Yes.
And change our system. That's what it was all about, changing our system.
Yes.
And with the chosen people, they had to break us and cut us off as a nation. And they did.
You know, like even in nature, when you look at, say, for instance, the insect world, like the bees, the queen bee is protected by the warriors.
Right.
Everyone surrounds the queen.
Come on,
Come on, man. Come on.
The woman is the only one that can birth.
Right.
Yes. Yes. And can't no man do it.
No
man do it. No matter, I don't care how many surgeries. Come on now. And Queen V, she said, we are the only people who sing praises to our mothers.
Yes.
It's in our DNA.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. We reverence her.
Yes.
We reverence our mamas.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's so much respect in Africa. And I was telling my doctor today, I went to get a blood test. The love and respect that the children have for me, the elders.
Yes.
They call me, which is grandma. They call me Sush, which is grandma. But at all levels, they honor and reverence me. They'll take my bag. They'll check to see I'm okay. Just that honor that we don't have in America. You find it here so respectfully.
Yes. Yes.
And it makes you think, man, the things that we have lost.
Yes.
The part of our culture that we have lost and getting back. We're getting it back. We're going to get it back.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're going to get it back 100%. And I can't wait. You know, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the learning, you know, and the restoration. I am enjoying it. So, family, we want to thank you. You know, I do hope that our dear brother in Uganda that asked about this lesson, that it has satisfied him and that he's able to take it and share. You know, I thank everyone who gave their input and for everyone listening. And those of you, you know, who are looking at this on YouTube, your responses, your comments, you know, is greatly appreciated. We thank you so much. We love interacting with everyone. So, family, I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and y'all know how we do afterwards. So love you greatly. You all be increased. BASSEH.
Awesome.